Hi guys, welcome back to Conversations with Wilka, where it's real, it's raw, it's authentic, and it's absolutely true. For today's edition, I just want to share a few quick tips that worked for me on how I managed to pass ITC on first attempt and CTA on second attempt. So I've been doing distance learning. I've been working for an audit firm and at the same time studying through the University of South Africa. And these are just tips that worked for me. It might work for you, it might not work for you. You have to establish and understand what works for you, So you can try different methods, you can learn from different people. And I'm just here to inspire you just a little bit. For today's edition, I just want to share a few quick tips that worked for me on how I managed to pass ITC on first attempt and CTA on second attempt. So I've been doing distance learning. I've been working for an audit firm and at the same time studying through the University of South Africa. And these are just tips that worked for me. It might work for you, it might not work for you. You have to establish and understand what works for you, So you can try different methods, you can learn from different people. And I'm just here to inspire you just a little bit. And this is what worked for me. So let's get straight into the video. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are already subscribers, for those of you that are visiting me for the first time, I hope that you will be able to, share this video or subscribe or just do something, So thank you so much for the support. So let's get straight into it. Before I start, I want to talk about my experience, my CTA experience. Basically, and then we can get straight into how I managed to pass ITC. So for CTA, I was really, really scared of entering CTA. Like, where did I go wrong with CTA first attempt? So, number one was fear. I was like, people have failed 5 times, 10 times, 7 times. So I entered knowing that it's not going to be the easiest journey. But at the same time, I was so scared of it. Every test, I was shaking. That's one of the mistakes that I made. I entered with fear, not knowing that people have done it first attempt as well, So it's possible and it's doable. If people did it, you can do it as well. And nobody, told me that. They told me it's doable, but they were like, but people are failing, So I entered really, really scared. Number 2, I did a lot of theory. I didn't do enough questions because I felt like I didn't have enough knowledge to write the test. So I kept doing so much theory, studying, things that I did in undergraduate. I wasn't revising, I was literally studying, and I didn't even get enough time to do questions, to do practice questions because I had so much theory, but how to put it down in CTA, I didn't know how to do it because I haven't worked out maybe similar questions, or I haven't tested the knowledge that I was busy studying for. So it was just one of the mistakes I made. And like my partner usually says, there needs to be a balance between questions and theory. You can't just do a lot of theory. You're setting yourself up for failure. If you do a lot of questions without theory, it's also setting yourself up for failure because questions are not going to repeat themselves. And you need to be able to answer different types of questions with different types of theoretical knowledge that you need to have. So if you haven't studied, you won't know what to put down. But if you haven't done a question, you won't know the exam technique on how to do it. And then they don't want memory dumping. They want application. So they don't want you to state what you studied. They want to know that you understand and can make it applicable to the scenario. That's one thing I didn't know. I thought if you study like the way we did it in university, 3rd year, the way we're doing it, that's what they want. They want you to apply, basically, And then number 4, not writing when I don't understand. Like, I would read a question in a test or in the exam, and if I don't know anything about it, I'll blank out and I won't even attempt, I won't even think about the theory that I know about this question. The moment I'm just like, I don't understand, I leave it out completely, which is one thing that made it so difficult for me to get marks, because this girl told me that you know something about every question. Just put down what you know. You can't just leave a question completely blank, because then at that moment there's no marks. There's no way that you're gonna get marks because you didn't put down anything. So that's one thing that I learned. Even if you don't know anything, start with the questions that you know, but do not leave anything blank. Do not. You can get 1 mark there. You can think. You can even put your dictionary definitions and explanations together in your head and just put down something. But don't leave anything blank unless there was not enough time. That's the only time that you leave something blank. And then number 5 is, I didn't believe I could do it, because there was so much pressure at work to perform at work, and at the same time I had to study CTA. I had a lot of knowledge, but I didn't do questions. So I was like, there's no way I can do it, Even though I gave it my best, even though I was praying while I was studying, I was praying, but at the same time I was scared. At the same time, I doubted the knowledge that I have was sufficient to make me pass. And if you don't believe it, girl, it's difficult to achieve it. You gotta believe it in order to achieve it. People just don't see it. It's actually reality. So yeah, that's basically 5 mistakes that I made for CTA first attempt. And then what I did for ITC is basically what I did for CTA second attempt. So for me, that worked. Number 1, I did a lot of research. Like, I did so much research. I did research from everyone who did it and passed. So I contacted all the friends that I knew that did ITC or CTA and how they managed to pass. And I put down all the knowledge that I gained from all the advice that each and every person gave me. That's what I jotted down. And I made sure that whatever they said, it could work for me or it might not work for me. But one thing I saw was that every person's research and every person's experience was almost the same to everybody that passed. And everybody was like, questions, exam technique, questions, exam technique. I was listening to videos from this other company, or they also offer a board course called Talabadi or something like that. I'll put down the name on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. So I did a lot of research. They also had free videos on how to pass ITC, where ITC students go wrong and what they do wrong. And I was like, since I'm a distance student, my foundation for theory is already not that deep. So I need to put in the extra work and effort. And the research I did was from people that did full-time, they did distance, they all gave me advice. Wilka, this is not the time to be studying theory. This is the time to brush up your theory, but to do questions and to work on your exam technique. And I was like, wow, this thing they're saying, everybody is saying it, so I'm going to do just that. Number 2, I evaluated how CTA was for me. If I pass, what topics did I not understand that I still need to brush up on? So I looked at topics like IFRS 15, 16, share-based payment, employee benefits, and shares for tax, and all the topics that I knew that if this topic has to come in, I cannot answer anything. Those are the topics that I focused on, that I brushed up, quickly just skimmed through the theory, just did a question here and there on an ITC level question for ITC and a CTA level question for CTA. I quickly brushed up on those topics, That's the second thing that I did. I evaluated, where did I go wrong? First of all, I knew I was scared. Secondly, I didn't do enough questions. So these are the things that I wanted to improve on. And this is what I worked on, So yeah, that's number 2. Number 3, I enrolled for a board course for ITC, but I also took CA campus on the modules that I was struggling with for CTA. So Mac and Text were my weakest points for the first attempt. So I took CA campus on that, and I knew that I needed help. I'm a distance student. I don't have enough time after work to study a full textbook on a certain topic. I needed tutors who've been there, done that, to assist me and to teach me, especially like I felt like I was in class, So that's why I enrolled for a board course, I needed some guidance on how to answer questions, and mock exams were very, very helpful. Like Endunamo's mock exams, I took the Endunamo course, and the mock exams were really amazing. I wrote those exams not having studied, but the feedback I got, like, Wilka, this is the topics you need to brush up on. Wilka, instead of saying, for example, I would say, this is what they are supposed to have a ethics committee, but they don't have one. Like my statements were even like vague. I left room for further questions. And this board course people could tell me that, Wilka, instead of saying this, could you not say that this is how something was supposed to be done. However, based on the scenario, it was not done, which is a contravention of principle number 7 of the Companies Act. They gave me the right words to use, because in auditing it was very important for me to use the right keywords. Instead of saying see, I would say inspect. Or instead of saying look, I'd say inspect. Instead of saying see, I would say observe. They gave you the right exam technique principles, how to start a question. For example, if they ask the accounting treatment, they mean you need to put down the classification, measurement, recognition criteria, disclosure, and presentation. I didn't know that. The moment they say accounting treatment, they need to debit and credit. I already went straight to classification. So I lost a lot of marks. However, you need to start it. First, it meets the definition. If it meets, how should it be classified? How should it be measured? How should it be recognized? And they could give me all that advice, and I was like, wow, this is so deep. In auditing, when they would ask a question about King and Companies Act, how do I make it applicable to the scenario? What words, keywords do I need to study in order for me to pass? This is what the board course taught me, and I'm so thankful for the board course, really, because I was like, wow, I didn't know these things, And CA Campus, Mac Tax, like my foundation was built. When I did Mac and Tax, guys, I wrote from my head. Second attempt after doing CA Campus, I was like, I wrote from my head, And I'm not saying this because CA Campus paid me, or the Endonamo course or whatever paid me to come say this. I'm literally saying it because this is what I did with them, They don't even know me, I'm probably one of the 10,000 students that they get, to help each and every year. So, yeah. Number 4, questions. I attempted questions on a daily basis for ITC because this friend of mine told me that even if you only answer one part of a full question, you are learning, and you need time, and you need to time yourself. You don't need to time yourself for the first 3 weeks, only later, closer to the exams. So every day I would just do maybe a auditing question at 30 marks just to keep learning, because it's better for me to do something than not to do anything at all, because it's a 3-hour exam paper. So I would break it down into parts like a slice of cake. I would eat a little bit every single day, just do an auditing question. Tomorrow do a text question, like a small short question, and then I would only time myself when it came closer to the exams, So I did a lot of questions, and when I was practicing, I would look at the solution and study the solution. Not study to memorize the solution, study to see how they're answering. How did they start? For example, should it be classified as an intangible asset? I would look at it like, how did they start? Okay, they started with the definition of an asset. Then they went to the recognition criteria. Then they went to the definition of an intangible asset. Then they went to the recognition criteria. Then they went to the classification, the measurement, and all these things, the presentation, how it should be disclosed in the financial statements. And this is how they ended up earning the most marks. And this is what I did. I went back, I looked at the exam technique through the solution that they gave me. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is how I need to do it. And the more questions I did, the more I started seeing a pattern in every solution, and it looked the same. And I was like, wow, okay, so this is basically what I need to do, And I studied the solution to learn, not to memorize. That's one thing I just want to let you guys know. So I had like big counter books. Every module had its own counter book, and in the counter book, every question I've attempted was marked with a red pen to show me that this is where you went wrong. You forgot to mention the definition of an asset. You forgot that I would put down notes on the side of my my solution. I would put down notes in red pen. If I wrote with a blue pen, I would use a black pen. If I wrote with a green pen, I would use a yellow pen. So it was just a different color pen to show me that this is where you went wrong. So I had this book with all the questions I've answered, and then at the same time I had a book called Exam Technique. In that book where it's written Exam Technique, I literally wrote down all the exam technique principles I learned from auditing. From auditing, be careful when they ask a question like this. This is what they require. For Mac, this is what they require. For text, this is what they require. This is how you need to start a question that asks you for accounting treatment. This is how you need to start a question that says correcting journal entries. you just need to correct and not to start the journal over again. So these are the notes that I made for myself in the specific counter books, written very neatly. And the day before the exams or the tests, I'll just go back to my books that I did solutions in, and where I wrote down my exam technique, and that's all I used to use the day before the exams, so that I don't confuse myself. And then I had short memory notes, like what do they call it, the study notes, just short, where I would just write down a few definitions, a few recognition criterias, a few exam technique principles or standards, sections from the Companies Act, sections from the Tax Act, just for me to just quickly brush through the day before the exams, and make sure that by 6 o'clock everything was packed away and I could rest my mind and I could breathe. I was still nervous listening to music and stuff, but I knew that I was just going to write what I knew on that specific day, and I couldn't stress. I didn't do questions the day before, like a few hours before I went to write, so because it leaves my mind very tired and I could think better. That's fifth, is it number 5? I would exercise, do squats, because I was like, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm getting energy to do questions. At the same time, I'm building on my, y'all understand what I'm saying. So not only am I getting the energy, but I'm also working on my body and I feel better, and I could focus clearly, So if it for you, jogging is for you. I don't jog, like it's just, why should I jog if a dog is not chasing me? I'm kidding. But no, I wasn't jogging. I only jog in the gym on a treadmill, but not like outside, because, I just don't like it. I did squats. I drank lots of water. I had a 2-liter water bottle that I would finish. I would finish 2-liter bottles every single day. And I limited the caffeine intake. And then I would not sunrise. I would sunrise a few weeks before the time, but the week before the exams I wouldn't sunrise because my sleeping pattern had to become normal, so that I would wake up on time and not be tired when I write for those 2 days of ITC, and then the 5 days for CTA. I would have all the energy. So I knew that sunrising was only for the previous weeks. By sunrising I mean like studying all-nighter, like pulling an all-nighter and then sleeping during the day. And then the last point, okay, not the last point, the second last point is believe in yourself, I saw the pass rate for ITC was very low for the November, and I didn't allow that to determine whether I was going to make it, because I looked at myself and I was like, if people did it, I can do it as well, and not because I feel like I deserve it because I'm all this and all that. No, I knew that I was going to put in the work and the effort, So I was like, I deserve it and I can do it. And I would put it down on my vision board and on my wall. I'll be like, congratulations on passing your ITC exams. So I saw it, I saw this. I was like, I see that I'm going to pass on first attempt, and then I pass it on first attempt. You got to believe in yourself. And no matter what the statistics are, you can do it, you can do it. With CTA as well, I was so calm. I wrote the exam like, I got this. I put in the work, I put in the effort. I'm reading, my theory is brushed up. I did enough questions, so if something similar could come, or even whatever question could come, I could put down something, And I mean, the board course even told me, Wilka, we are we believe that you can do it on first attempt. And I was like, even the board course believes in me, so who am I not to believe in myself, So I was really, really happy when I passed, because I was like, I really, I gave it my all. And the most important point, the last point, you guys know I'm saved. You guys know I'm born again. I'm all about Jesus, I don't want to shove him in your face, but I prayed. I prayed. You know what I did? I think I even wrote down my prayer before my results came out and everything. So because it's one thing, you can study, do all these things, and then the exam just seem to ask the topic that you know nothing about, So you need favor as well. Favor when you walk into that exam hall, that whatever you've studied is what's going to come into in the exams. So that's why I prayed, and I was like, God, I know you saw the paper. I know you were there when the person was setting up that paper. So I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray and ask you to lead me, to guide me, to remind me whatever I studied. And at the same time, I pray that this topic that I'm really struggling with, the mark, it doesn't come in, So yeah, so I reminded God of his word. I even wrote it down here. I know you guys won't be able to see, but this is how it looks like. So I was like, God, this is your word. This is what you say, Lord, about your word. God is not a man that he should lie. You're not a man that you should lie, you know. His word never returns void. You know, your word goes and accomplishes what it's been sent forth to accomplish. So send forth your word to help me pass, God. He says yes and amen. So when we pray, it's like yes, amen, you know, because we believe in him. And faith, your word says faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. I have faith as small as a mustard. I have faith that I'm going to make it on first attempt. I have faith that I'm going to pass the city on second attempt. And, you know, nothing is impossible to him who believes. And I believe. You said nothing. Nothing is no thing. No thing. As in zero, you know. So nothing is impossible. I believe. I believe I passed, you know. Ask and you shall receive. Your word says asking you, and I'm asking God, and you said I shall receive. And I've put in the work and I've put in the effort. I'm not just asking and my faith is somewhere else where we pray, but we're doing sick. We're not even focused. If you want to write 90%, you gotta study like a 90% student. You know, preach it, girl. Has he said and not done? Has he ever said and he hasn't done? No, I've never seen of any time like that. Let it be done according to your word. God, you know when Jesus used to heal the people, he was like, your faith has healed you. Let it be done according to your belief. You know, so whatever you believe is what you're going to have. And if you say you believe you passed, why are you asking about the supplementary date? I don't care when ITC's second option for the year is, because me, I passed. That needs to be attitude because you believe you passed. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. I believed, you know, and I did pause. Because I was like, I'm not going to make second options. I believe in. And God says no thing is impossible to him who believes. No thing. So I believe, you know. And then he was just reminding me on the day when the results came out, like, yes, some failed, but it doesn't have to be your story. No second options. You need to believe that he's a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. Come to the throne of grace with boldness, you know. Great is your faith. I've seen him do wonders. That's what I told myself. I've seen him do it. Won't he do it again? Won't he do it for me? You know, that's what I believe. James 1 verse 6 says, but let him ask in faith with no doubting. For he who doubts like a wave of the sea, tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the master in that way. So I thought, it says that if I doubt, let me not suppose that I'm going to get anything from God. You know, he must believe that he's the rewarder of those that diligently seek him. I believe that he's going to reward me because faith can move mountains. God is pleased by faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please him. My faith was before the results came out, ITC, I went to do my nails, y'all, because why should I be stressing if I already passed? I was like, I need to be ready when I'm taking those pictures for passing ITC with, you know, my nails need to be done. I was ready. I got those results in a taxi, and I was like, I was on my way home though. I don't know what dance that is, but I was so happy and I was crying. I was so amazed. You guys don't understand. I resigned from my previous job just to pursue this dream of mine to become a CA. So it meant a lot. Like sometimes I look at people that graduate and they go all out and I'm like, you don't know what the person went through. You don't know the sacrifices that the person made to be where they are. So I was like, I'm gonna celebrate. I don't care. For some people it's not deep. For me it's deeper. I enrolled for both because I had sleepless nights. All these things are things that I faced studying for ITC and for CTA. So I deserve to do all the photo shoots in the world. I deserve to spoil myself, and this is going to be you when you pass your ITC and your CTA. You know the struggle though. So yeah, I pray that you get to pass as well, that you give it your all, get a tutor, get a mentor, do some research, pray about it, and girl, it's gonna work for you. These tips might work for you, might not work for you, but I'm just disclaiming, but I'm praying for you, okay? And I love you guys. So don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.